You are my shelter from the storm. You keep me safe inside your wings. You are my comfort when life gets hard. You lead me to water to drink. Your gentle hand, even when I can't understand, I know your voice. I'm not afraid, walking with me at the same pace.
When the lights and camera turn off, I will be here. When the interest and conversation fade, I will be here. When there's no one around, a father will do anything it takes to be there for his son, to protect his family.
Daniel Robinson went missing 4 months ago. This is the last photo his family has of him. He's a 24-year-old geologist, last seen leaving his job site in Buckeye, Arizona.
As the Gabby Petito homicide case garners national attention, another young person has been missing for nearly 3 months, and his family is desperate to find him. 24-year-old Daniel Robinson, a geologist, was last seen on the morning of June 23rd, leaving his work site in the desert of Buckeye, Arizona.
David Robinson had only one thought on his mind as he drove the nearly 1,800 miles from his South Carolina home to Phoenix.
I had to find my son. And I want to thank everybody who joined in with me to try to help find him. So thank you guys for coming in this morning. My name is David Robinson. I'm the father of geologist Daniel Robinson. My son Daniel, a geologist, graduated from the College of Charleston in Charleston, South Carolina, came out to Arizona to expand his horizon, to expand his career in geology. He landed his first job at Matrix New World. It's called Matrix, also called Matrix Southwest Groundwater. They hired him on as a field geologist, also called a hydrogeologist. My son goes out to various well sites to check the viability of those wells. Those wells have to produce at least 100 years of water for these communities out here in Arizona. And so his job is to help determine that. As well as, like I said, check the viability well. They go into check the rock settlements that come out of water, have those waters tested to make sure it's safe to drink. Also, my son on June the 23rd last year, he was doing just that, two well sites that he was assigned to. He get assignments in the mornings, the assignments at night, actually, of his work, what he'd be doing the next various day on different well sites all over Arizona. But that particular morning, he had two assignments. The first one was at roughly around 7 o'clock that morning. He was at the first well site, and then the second, I was told that he was by law enforcement that he made it to the second well site around 9 o'clock, and that he was gone around 9:15. But when he was on, the story was when he was making it to that well site out there of a road called off the road called Sun Valley Parkway and Cactus Road, my son met a worker out there who said he met my son on the roadway, and from that point, my son followed him into that desert. They drove 1 mile west into that desert and 2 miles north to get to this well site. Once they was at the well site, this worker said that they had about a 15-minute conversation. Like I said, around 9 o'clock, they had a 15-minute conversation where my son waved off and was never ever seen again. But of course, just hearing that my son was gone and missing, as a family, my daughter, she had didn't have a clue if he was missing or not, but she had got a one of the workers for my son's job from Matrix. One of the workers came out to her resident and alerted her that he was looking for Daniel. She thought that was really strange. She was worried about that. And so she reached out to myself. I'm not sure if she reached out to her mother, but she reached out to me and let me know what was going on. Of course, we had to do due diligence, had her go to her brother's house to check and see if he was there. Of course, he wasn't there, but in the meantime, I was doing a lot of phone calls to his phone. He wasn't answering his phone. Tried to check his friends, like I said, checking his other family members, checking his mother. Nobody have heard from him. So from that point, I got suspicious once I noticed the time was past 6 hours. That's unusual for Daniel. Daniel would not just disappear. He would not just wander off or just know he's a very responsible young man. Been doing this for a couple of years. You know, landed his first job. He started off with a little small car that was that he had to fix all the time just to make it work. But he made sure he made it on time. Started his career off real, being very responsible. He loved his job. He loved Arizona. You know, he had some issues with the job that he definitely wanted to get addressed, but he ultimately loved his job as a geologist. And he came out, like I said, to make sure that he was making it work on time. He got himself, once he got the money that he needed, he got himself a second vehicle, the one that you guys know about now. That vehicle, it was more reliable. Really love that vehicle. Had plans to show it to me, you know, in July last year. Show it to me for the first time when I met with him and his sister here in Arizona. We was going to spend time together. So we had all that plans there. But like I said, Daniel definitely was very responsible and very dependable on his job. So, of course, for him to not have been, you know, at his work site at 9 o'clock, what I heard at the time, and that he was haven't been seen since that time, I then knew that something was wrong, like I said, and then I put it in I went to first. I called Tempe Police Department. My son is a resident of Tempe. Asked Tempe, the police department, to go and do a welfare check. They told me they couldn't do a welfare check. Is because I mentioned that because they asked me where he was last seen. I told them according to his job, some guys at the job told me that he was near some White Tank Mountains. I didn't know what that was. They told me that was out White Tank Mountains out into an area called Buckeye, and that's the department I need to call to get the welfare check, as well as put in a missing person report. So that's what I ended up doing. They gave me the phone number to call Buckeye Police Department, which I did. Asked for a welfare check. For what I was told, they was calling Tempe. They'd called Tempe, asked them to do what they call as a drive-by. Nobody actually went to the apartment, but what I heard, the officer drove past the apartment just to see if anything looked kind of suspicious or strange, and that was the end of that. Also, I was able to try to put in a missing person report and was told I had to wait additional hours because I was short of their 12 o'clock reporting time. So at that point, I had to sit around the house and wait for those few hours to pass before I can call back again and put in that missing persons report. And once I got the missing person report in, I did talk to Officer Cruz at the time and ask him, can they go out and look for my son? Once I got more information, that first he told me, hey, he's going to go up to Sun Valley Parkway and Cactus Road. I was really relieved of that. He did do that, give me some report and tell me he's make sure he was stuck on the side of the road. I didn't know what Sun Valley Parkway was at the time, but he was ultimately checking that area where my son's supposedly been missing near the White Tape Mountains. And from that point, when I got more information that he was actually missing in the desert, off the road, asked Officer Cruz, can he go and go get someone they can go out there and search for him in that desert? I was told they couldn't because it was nighttime. They wouldn't have any helicopters and things like that. So I had to deal with that, stay up all night, wait till next morning. They said they was going to have a helicopter go out in the morning. Wait till next morning. Also called me as Officer Haley, I think his name was at the time, tell me that they was going to have someone go out there. Of course, I was very happy about to hear that somebody's going out to search my son. I'm over 2,000 miles away in South Carolina. And just like that, an hour or so later, that same officer called and told me the flight was canceled. It was unauthorized because his higher up says Daniel's a grown man. If you want to disappear on his own, he can. And that's when I knew that I need to come to Arizona. Of course, you guys know I've been here since June 26th. For those who don't know, who's new to the Q&A, yes, been here since June 26th, searching for my son. One of the biggest things I did when I first got here is a couple things. I tried to work with the Buckeye Police Department as well as gather all the information I can from his job. And also one of the major things was to talk to the man at the well site to find out exactly the story that the officers told me, and the timeline they told me is exactly what he is saying. Of course, I did talk to this guy, and he told me the same exact thing. But after a while of, I guess, getting comfortable, he started telling me some extra things. Things like staying left of the track so he didn't disturb him, because also that he noticed things would become big and go national. He knew that the police was going to come looking, things like that. So also his search pattern when he went through a gate and things like that, and how far he went and got out of the vehicle, look on top of the hill. Painted some rocks with red paint so the officers know where to come to, things like that. So getting all the information from that point on, I knew I need to make sure I document everything, make sure I did report that to the Buckeye Police Department. Didn't go anywhere, but just make sure I documented everything from that point. And so that's when I started my own investigation. As you guys know, farther than that. Once I started going out to Sun Valley Parkway almost every day, standing outside that desert with my binoculars, trying to hope I can locate Daniel from the road. I decided to make sure I get out there to the desert. One of the things that was keeping me from my son was the desert itself, and I wanted to make sure I got out there to search for him, to rescue him. So once I really got the story down that he was out there in that desert. So, of course, I had to do everything I can to form a search, which I have. You guys know it's been over 40-some weeks of searches, over 30,000 or 35,000 acres of land out there. Those search out there with volunteers. You know that we found human remains out there as well. You know, the vehicle showed up almost 30 days later after Daniel went missing. So you know the story. If you guys have any questions about the details of those, you can ask those questions. I'm here to answer some of those questions that I can. And so that's why I had a Q&A. So you guys, thank you so much again, like I said, for coming in this morning, being a part of the Q&A. And also, I just wanted to make sure before I get started on the Q&A to answer these questions, I wanted to make sure that I put some things out. A day of remembrance coming September the 10th. Guys, I'm really pushing that real hard. The team is really pushing that very hard. If you need more information on that, go to Eventbrite. You can look up a day of remembrance on Eventbrite. And I'm asking you to RSVP. Also, you can go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com and hit the event tab, and that will take you there as well. So you can go ahead and RSVP. If you're a family who would like to be a part of the Day of Remembrance, to be able to share your loved one's story, to be able to put your flyers out, please contact us at pleasehelpfinddaniel@yahoo.com. Because that's very important for you, and also as for those who want to come out support. It's very important that you definitely support the families. I know I needed the support. I needed a platform, and there's a lot of families out there that don't have the platform. So we're trying to make sure we provide that, as well as get people in touch with some of the resources that is out there as well, to help them along their journey to find their loved one. I want again to say, like I said, also thank you guys for being here. Please hit that like, share, and subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here as well, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. That would definitely help the algorithms with this channel, because I'm trying to get Daniel's story out there as far as I can, and make sure that his story is heard. And because without the YouTube channel, I definitely wouldn't be able to get the story out, because media, they do as much as they can, but when the story get old, a lot of times, of course, it goes on the back burner. It's my job to make sure that I keep it going. So definitely out here for the Q&A to make sure I answer questions, as well as trying to keep Daniel's story alive. So thank you so much. If you hit that like, share, subscribe button, that really help as well. Grow the YouTube channel so I can reach out farther and get Daniel's story out there. If you want to distribute flyers for the calls, definitely email me at the team, myself and the team at pleasehelpfinddaniel@yahoo.com. If you want to send you flyers, if you want to help out by printing the flyers out yourself, you can go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com and go to hit the PDF there. The flyer PDF is sitting there for you to be able to do that as well. That's very helpful. That's very helpful, because need all the help I can get on that effort as well. Also, if you're a person that just want to help and you're not living here in Arizona, or you live in another country, you can fill out the form under Volunteer in Other Ways tab. Is go ahead and fill that form out and get your skill sets that can be utilized later. We really appreciate that if you can, because it's a lot of work that can be done, not only just to help me find my son, but also for other families who need help and stuff like that. So with the efforts. Also, if you want to become a volunteer and ambassador, there's a lot I'm putting out here, guys, about starting off the beginning. But if you guys want to be an ambassador, put out those flyers as well. You can join me on the Zoom every Thursday at 5 p.m. That's Arizona time, but it's 8 p.m. Eastern time. You guys join me on the Zoom. That Zoom link is on pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. The front page right up under the video. You can see that Zoom link. You join me at, like I say, 5 o'clock every Thursday. It'll be tomorrow, every Thursday evening. So guys want to join me on that, and I'll give you some information on that as well while you're there. So thank you, guys. If you want to contact me or anything like that, you get more information as well. That's the phone number on the bottom, the 803-200-7994, or you can email me at pleasehelpfinddaniel@yahoo.com. So thanks so much again, you guys, for coming to the Q&A. I just want to say thank you to many of you that comes here every time I have Q&A. I know you hear some of the same things over and over again. I really appreciate that you stand here to just support and being a part. Those who's new, definitely want to keep those things there for you to know about what the case is all about. There's so much information there. You can go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. You can go to the Twitter. I'm out there on Twitter. It's pleasehelpfind4, pleasehelpfind4, and you can go there and follow me on there as well. You got the YouTube channel. You got the Facebook and Instagram, Please Help Find Daniel, and TikTok as Please Help Find Daniel. Those are Please Help Find Daniel. If you want to go look that up as well, follow there. All right. Thank you, Tracy, for being here this morning. I really appreciate you coming out on the YouTube side. Also, thank you, Victoria, for being here. Good morning to you. Ossie, thank you so much for being here this morning. Thank you, Sophia, for being here. So fresh smells. Thank you so much. I really appreciate everything you do, moderating. I really appreciate it. And yeah, you guys, also, I want to put out the team reminded me this morning. We have the day, a fast and prayer for Daniel. That'll be next Wednesday. Oh, time's going by fast. It'll be next Wednesday, you guys, August 24th. And you guys, if you want to join in fast and prayer, I definitely do that every Wednesday. That's close to the 23rd of, the 23rd is almost like the date that we say every month that when Daniel went missing. But we try to get that Wednesday close to that date. So you guys, on 24th, if you want to fast and prayer with us, please put the hashtag that fast and prayer for Daniel. I believe in prayer, and miracles and things like that has been happening. A lot of people say, "Hey, you fast and prayer for your son." It's been over a year now. Yes, and I believe in fast and prayer. It's helped in many ways. God He knows time and place when things should happen, and I have that faith and believe that the time and place will happen. But in the meantime, fast and prayer not only just helped me in my efforts to find Daniel, but it helps me internally, helps me myself, helps me with my own strength, helps me, keep my mind straight. So you guys joining in with me, we have that cohesiveness, and we have one common goal and one common mind. I really believe that fast and prayer, not only, like I say, help in this situation, but it help us ourselves. So thank you so much for if you join in with me on that 24th. So I will be coming on. It'll be on the Q&A as well. I always start off the fast and prayer with a prayer to start it off. So you guys come out next week, and I started off with the prayer, and then on the primetime Q&A, I do end it with a prayer as well. But I want to mention that this week I was having a guest on to share a story about her. Two guests sharing a story about their brother who's missing. I will be putting some information about that out this evening, but they won't be coming on until next week, next Wednesday. They informed me they had some things going. They had to reschedule it to next week. So you guys, you want to come back next week as well. Please to support this family and to make sure that their story, their loved one's story, get out there. Like I said, everybody need a platform. I needed one, so I built one. And whatever I have, it's not the biggest platform in the world, but it's enough just to put a story out there. And I really want to make sure that I do my part. I know exactly what it's like. I know what it feels like to not be able to, get the platform or get just your loved one's story out there. It's very urgent. So I'm doing everything I can as well. Y'all don't forget, I have the Daniel Robinson Foundation as well as, like I said, Day Remembrance, doing everything I can to make sure that I help others as well as I'm going on this journey, for me and my family. All right. And thank you also, Minnie, for being here. Thank you for your prayers. I really need that. Thank you, Aurora, for being here. I really appreciate it. And thank you, Sophia, for putting this out as well. Day of Remembrance, September the 10th. You guys, that's the link there for the Eventbrite. You can go there and RSVP. That will help tremendously, not only for me, but these families. The family, like I said, we need that support. Also, thanks to Phil for putting that out as well. For those who want to donate to help keep everything running here, what I'm doing here, and support, you can find that on pleasehelpfinddane.com under the donate tab as well. So thanks so much, Phil, putting that up. Also, DJ Moore, good morning to you. I really appreciate that you coming out and joining in. Thank you, Tay, for being here this morning. I really appreciate it. Good morning to you. Thanks for your prayers. I really appreciate that. Thanks so much as well. Also, Sophia, thanks for putting more information out there as well for other ways to search. You guys, if you want to volunteer in other ways, you definitely can go to pleasehelpfinddane.com under the non-search volunteer sign up. And like I said, fill out that form and put your skill sets there. It's very, very helpful and it's very useful. So thank you also, Brooke, for being here this morning from the YouTube side of things. Thank you for thinking about our family. I really appreciate that. And the goal is right there to still have that GoFundMe. That goal is still there. I'm really trying to reach that goal there if you guys can. But thank you so much. Thank you for donating. I'm really trying to reach that goal. It's helping me for several things. Is to remain here in Arizona as I've been asking for you guys have kept me here. It's been over a year to keep my boots on the ground, to be effective for my son, to fight and do everything I can to make sure I do everything I can to find him, as well as the searches. I wouldn't have had those searches out there in the desert if it wasn't for you guys have donated. And also, like I said, doing the flyer distribution, as well as trying to make sure I get things up for these forensic work that haven't been done on the scene, so on the crash scene. So you guys, thank you so much for everything on that. Thank you, Brooke, for considering that as well. All right, and there you go again. We love you too. I really appreciate that. You love your love support for me and my family. Daniel, I really appreciate that. Also, you guys, the PDF there on pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. Thanks to Phil for putting all this information out. If you guys want to print your own flyers out, that'd be helpful. It's showing to help with the revenue, and it's also helping the cause to get those flyers out. My goal is to get every city in the United States, because I'm trying to reach that one person who may have seen something, heard something, but they now live in Florida or something, or California, or they might live in New York or Maine. You guys, so I'm trying to reach that person. So you guys, definitely, if you can put those flyers out there, help me get them out there. I really appreciate it. All right. And thank you. Don't forget to say Daniel's name. Sophia, you put a whole lot out this morning. I really appreciate that. Say his name, Daniel Robinson. Hashtag Daniel Robinson. Thanks so much. Yeah, keep his name alive out there. So thanks so much. All right. Also, thanks for keeping the family in prayer. I really appreciate it, Sophia. Thanks so much again. All right. All right, Shannon, thank you so much for being here off the Facebook side. I really appreciate your prayers and your thoughts on me and my family. And I really appreciate it. Yeah, we definitely going to keep fighting. And I really appreciate it. Thank you, Aurora, for the compliment. I really appreciate you being here this morning as well. Thank you, Tay, again, for being here this morning. I really appreciate it. And also, thank you, Shauna, for being here this morning, being a part of the team as well, as a board member. Thank you so much for welcoming everybody to this Q&A. All right. If you guys have any questions, I will, like Shauna saying here, you have those questions, please, by all means, put the capital letter Q there before you ask your question. Put the capital letter Q before your question, or the word question before your question, or some question marks, things like that, so I can find it as I'm coming down the comment section. If I miss your name, I apologize. I just want to tell you all, thank you so much for being here. Like Serials Nation, thank you so much for being here this morning on here, as well as Jocelyn. Thank you so much. I do have a question here from Esther Levy. Thank you so much, Esther, for coming in on Q&A this morning, and thank you for the question, the first question of the morning. With all the inconsistencies in Daniel's case, would that not be good enough reason for FBI to step in? I would think so. You know what I'm saying? I try to learn over the year. I've been trying to learn a lot about how law enforcement work. I just know that at the beginning, when I first came searching for my son, I wanted to see the flaring lights that I've seen in some of these cases where the FBI is automatically involved. They speak of on the news that all these agencies is involved, whether it's from one agency to all of them working together in conjunction to find a person, right? I have never seen that to this date. I hear the Buckeye Police Department say, hey, we work with outside agencies. I have not met or heard of any of them yet to this date. I heard them say that, but I haven't seen any agencies or anybody out there. There was no FBI, definitely was no FBI out there. Only agencies I know, if they want to call them agency, is the people that came out to help do a search, Civil Air Patrol. I don't know if they calling that an agency, a little search group, or a little old men, retired old Air Force guys is an agency. I'm not sure. If they say they call and ask Phoenix Police Department, which they claim they call them, I guess, and ask them request to see if they can take a flyover with their helicopter, the Phoenix Firebird. I don't know if that's called working with outside agencies or not, but that's the only agencies I've ever heard of that have never reached out to me as well, but I have heard of, and I'm still checking into that. As in FBI, I have had death threats at the beginning. I did reach out to the FBI myself, put in a report. They told me I had to talk to Buckeye because the son's case open, and Buckeye had to refer them into it. So the way I've been understanding with the FBI, you have the Buckeye have to ask them to come into the case. And so at that time, I did talk to Buckeye. They told me to speak to them and let them know what's going on. I let them know what's going on, and that was the end of the story. They have never called them in. They never asked me anything about that anymore. Recently this year, Chief Hall tried to surprise. He never heard of what happened, the death threats and things like that. He acted like he was oblivious to it. but he's the chief of police at the time. And, so definitely don't, like I said, the FBI will come in if they ask. Of course, as you know, that I did put in a really striking letter, a long, lengthy letter. And I CC'd the city managers to, you name it, in this letter to Chief Hall, asking him to bring in the FBI for me and my family to find out what happened to my son. And, of course, with everything I put in the letter, from my son been missing in the crime scene, you guys look at the scene behind me. It's a crime scene to me, right? Not only because it just looked like to me, but with the evidence that my investigator found at the time that would suggest foul play, as well as the fact that we found human remains in that area where my son went missing. So it's a big crime scene to me, And so it's very urgent that the FBI come in to look. Is near at the time I didn't know it was on federal land, but it's near federal land is where I put in, on a couple of feet away from federal land. So it's a lot of things I had in that letter, and that's what made him go, which he said, "Oh, I do have the FBI doing what is called a case review." Of course, the first thing, as soon as he sent me a letter, as a response to my letter, that he was doing asking the FBI to come in to do a case review. My attorney, she immediately wrote back to him and said, I mean, the same day, not no day later or anything else, and asked a request for me to be there. She to be there. If they didn't want her there because she's an attorney, I need to be there at least to be part of this case review at the FBI. They did not do that. We waited till a week to see if they respond, to give them a little time to respond. They did it underhandedly, didn't respond to me at all to this day about that. Only thing they did, well, I'll take that back. They responded to me in a different way. At the time, they didn't respond to me when they was waiting on the FBI to do this case review. They went ahead and done it behind my back. And once they alerted me of that, they called me. Had the detective call me and say, "Hey, look, we had the case review at the FBI, and they told us that you, Mr. Robinson, doing such a great job on your own that we don't have to come in." And that was very hurtful, because I had just did a family conference, news conference, and telling you guys that, hey, look, I was really excited, telling my family we have the FBI coming to Daniel's case, and that's what the kind of result that we got from whatever Buckeye told them or whatever was going on inside the background. To cause them to say, if the FBI would say something like that. I really doubt it, but that's what was told to me, that you, Ms. Robinson, did such a great job on your own. We don't have to come in. So with the inconsistencies and all the stuff that we do know, like you said, Esther, it's amazing. It's amazing that the struggles that had to go in, and still to this day, even the vehicle on federal land, still to this day, can't get them to come into Daniel's case, as well as not being able to get the answers to all those inconsistencies. I don't believe Buckeye would pass the FBI because they have messed up so much. They have messed up so much. That's the reason why I'm asking you guys, if you have anything you want to say to law enforcement, anything you want to reach out to law enforcement to say. I don't care what department it is. The biggest thing for me is I want my son's case out of Buckeye because of that. Just what you just said. They tainted it and messed it up so badly. Saying it's they don't need to be doing more damage to my son's case. So definitely would like to see it out somewhere else. Like to see it, the FBI handle it. I even like to see Tempe handling my son's case. I like to see Maricopa County. Maricopa County is over that area. Daniel's a resident of Tempe. I like to see those departments step in, and also to make sure they do what they need to do to try to help get Daniel's case away from being damaged the way it has already. So you guys, so look out for that. I'm definitely pushing for that as well. You guys can also push that as well. I don't believe Buckeye would pass the FBI because they have messed up so much. Yes, I agree. All right, thank you for your question, Esther. I really appreciate you coming in this morning. Also, thank you, blessings to all. Thanks so much for being here this morning. And again, Aurora, thanks so much for being here, and thank you for your question. I really appreciate you taking time out to ask this question. And I'm gonna get to it right here. The question is LE doing anything at this point? Is anyone being investigated? One thing I can say is that I have little to nothing. You guys would hear more stuff from Buckeye than I would, and I'm a family member being here on the ground from day one, right? You guys would hear things. I don't look at the report anymore. I have two original reports. I have a partial report, for instance, and I have a full report that Chief Hall told me they gave me. They finalized, they put on a flash drive and gave it to me. I still have it on the flash drive, and I have copies of it as well. And that's the final report. The final report was given to me when they told me they had more leads to follow. They put that on Facebook. I have an article on their Facebook page to go along with their statement that they have no more leads to follow, as well as the testimony from my own investigator who came in, my PI that I've hired to come in. They told him in his face that they weren't doing an investigation at all. They're done with Daniel's case. They're done with it. They gave him the copy of the everything they have. Everything. The black box data. That's where he get it from. He got it from Buckeye. They gave it to him because they didn't have any more. They're not doing anything to Daniel's case. They're done with it. So when I look at the stuff of what they're doing now, I don't know, because once my investigator came in and he found all the information, all the hard physical evidence that would suggest foul play happened to my son at the scene behind me. Once we turned and we pulled it up, we must held on to some of that information for at least about a week before he and I had a meeting together, and we was talking. Hey, look, he didn't trust Buckeye, and because of the way they was handling things. He's an ex-police officer, and he know how things should be handled. It wasn't handled correctly, and so he was really wanting to push the FBI to come in. He wanted everything to go to the FBI. He wanted everything to go to some other agency outside of Buckeye, but because Buckeye is the person handling my son's case, was kind of force our hands to be able to give the stuff to Buckeye. And once we did, I used to almost talk to Buckeye almost every day. But once that information went to Buckeye, they shut it down. They stopped talking to me as a family member. Everything. That's when the relationship between myself and Buckeye went bad, because they started doing those type things. And then when I started learning more information, then I could see how much damage was done to my son's case, of course. They then also, not only that I'm out here asking you guys for funding, asking you guys looking for resources out there in the desert, asking the Buckeye Police Department to come out even just to help me in my searches, and they refused to have done that. They came to 2 searches that I request, and those 2 searches they came out to is I requested them to come out to bring resources that I need. I needed the drones, I needed the helicopters, I needed the equipment to check these mines and wells, as well as cadaver dogs, those type things that police departments have. I needed those things. They came empty-handed. The first search, they came empty-handed. When I invited them out the second time, they came partially empty-handed. And so they haven't done anything. Haven't done it. It was useless time that it came out. So long story short with that, like I said, I definitely just lost any kind of help from them at all. Instead of helping me and using the money they can to try to help me in my 40-some weeks of searches, they took the same money and hired a private investigator to do the same job that my investigator already doing. He's an accident reconstruction. They hired an accident reconstructionist just to, in my opinion, rebut the findings that my investigator found. They didn't like it. Like I said, they shut down on me. So they went and got their own just to put in their input to say, hey, this is exactly how the way we said it happened, that's the way it's going to it has happened. And we have so much evidence to say that it didn't happen at this ravine here. So for instance, it's definitely it's hard dealing with that department from that point. Like I said, it's all the inconsistencies, like as the leaver said at the beginning just a while ago, and also what they're doing at this point. We don't have any communication. Don't have any communication on that part or finding. And I doubt they're doing anything. Only thing I see on that they're doing, you guys get more information, is from a police report, and those police reports is so not consistent with what really happening on the ground. So you guys read one thing in a report, oh, we did this, oh, we did that. I haven't seen it. The things they say they've done, it still need to be done. So how come they have done certain things and it still need to be done? So definitely whatever you put in the report, it doesn't match the stuff that initially. You cannot erase, once you put something on black and white, you cannot say it didn't happen. You didn't write that. So they put a lot of things on black and white. I do still have it. I hold on to those things because when they change these reports, they adding things on. It don't go with the first original report. So definitely keep a hold to that. So I don't know what they're doing. And from this point, in my opinion, they did enough damage. And I just want to make sure Daniel's case be removed. So thanks so much, Aurora, for that question. I do have Laura, Gent Laura. Thanks so much for being here. And thanks for putting the hashtag there. Fast and prayer for Daniel. Like I said, on the 24th, you guys, I will be fasting and prayer, doing the fasting and prayer for Daniel. I want to make sure that date is right. Um, Yes. I'm doing the fast and prayer for Daniel. And you guys, for this Q&A. Like I said, I started off with a prayer. I was started off with a prayer, and we go through the fast and prayer today. Because, like I said, with that unity and everybody in one mind and one goal is to find Daniel, as well as to help other families. God to help other families. I believe in prayer. Help other families find their loved one as well, and help them get strength. So, like I said, fast and prayer not only good for making intercessions and showing your faith, is also good for you yourself, internally. Keep you going, keep you strong. So I need the strength, and so I'm gonna always do that to try to keep my strength up. All right, thank you again, Shauna, for putting us up here. Prayer for Daniel to be found and answers and support, and that's exactly prayer for fast and prayer for Daniel. Definitely praying for that. But like I said, you guys, you join in with us on the 24th. Me and my team, I really appreciate it. Thank you, Karita, for being here this morning. Good to see you out here. Good morning to you. I really appreciate all the work that you do in the background as well, helping the team and I and my family do some things. So I really appreciate it as well. You being a part of the Q&A this morning. Thank you, Amber, for being here this morning. I really appreciate that. You guys have any more questions, please, by all means, put a capital letter Q there, followed by your question or the word question or some question marks. That would definitely really help as well. Thank you, Mr. Farmer, for being here. Thank you for part of the team as well as board. I really thank you for being here this morning in this Q&A. All right. Thank you so much. And thank you for your prayer, Laura. I did see the prayer. I happen to see that there. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. We need that. We need all the prayers and all the help we can. Thanks, Sophia, for putting us up. Like, share, subscribe, you guys. If you're new here, you haven't already, please, by all means, hit that like, share, subscribe button. We help the algorithms get this channel out farther. You guys got it over 1,000 some subscribers. That helps a lot. They open up community tabs and things like that. And I still haven't used it. Gisela K from Grizzly True Crime, she did everything she can to try to give me information how to utilize YouTube a lot better when you get those numbers and things like that. So one day I will get down to actually changing this whole platform up, utilizing some of those tools that I have now because of you guys getting the channel up to a certain amount of subscribers. That subscribers for me though is definitely helpful because it gets Daniel's story out a little farther, and more people come. The algorithms go, like I said, I have even if you look at some of the old videos I have now, they have commercials on them now because they monetize some of the ones there, so that helps as well. That means that that pushes the story out for me. The monetization is not that great. But the story part, putting those things out there, Father, is great for me because that means I'm reaching more people now. So I'm really grateful for that. So we'll keep on doing that by hitting that like and share, subscribe, because I do, like I said, next week, hopefully this family will be coming on as well next week, next Wednesday, and be able to help other families. That's another reason why this channel need to grow, to be able to help other families get their story out. When I came here to Arizona, there was no platform for me. I mean, I've struggled for 3 months just to get local news coverage, just to get the thing going locally. Thank God for people like Josh Sander and Nicole Grigg at the time, who was pushing to help me get these Daniel story out there locally. They did the best they can. Start me off by coming out and getting a story from me and pitching it to their channel. And finally, like I said, been getting those things rolling where I was getting more interviews. So I was pushing really hard for 3 months and got that done. And also it took that time to, at the same time, pushing everything on social media, put Daniel's story out there enough for somebody to pick it up and get a viral tweet to Joe Reed of MSNBC picking it up, as well as because of the Petito case, Daniel's story went up. So those are reasons why. So I mean, it's hard work for a family member who don't have a platform. So I want to be able to make sure I can do my part to help that family get a platform as well. Utilize this platform. It's not the biggest platform in the world, but it's something to get going. And once they get going, they get their person name out there to keep that story going. So definitely want to be able to use this channel to be used for that. So I want to make sure I have that. All right, you guys, thank you so much. Thank you, Karita, for your prayer and always praying. I really appreciate it. I know you do. Your prayer warrior, you sent me that link the other day, and I really appreciate you and the ladies doing the prayer. I really appreciate it. I was happy to be there for that prayer section. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much and you do that every week. I really appreciate that. Thanks so much for inviting me on that as well. Thank you, Terry, for being here this morning. And I do have a question here. Thank you for the love to you as well. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much. I also have a question here from Shauna. Thank you, Shauna, again. I really appreciate you pushing this question out. Let's see here. With the knowledge you have gained during this time, have you heard from other families or support that the families can demand people who gave stories be interrogated? No, I don't know about demanding them to be interrogated, but I definitely know that uh, from what I understand, I have yet to hear them ever say they took anybody concerning my son's case into the department. I just know they reached out to these people. They asked them questions. As you guys could tell, they got the website, and I put the timeline there. You guys saw the timeline I put there. It's not consistent to the realities. That's what I'm trying to say. Just because y'all read that in the report, don't mean that it's reality. They said on the report that you see two different things. One officer saying not try to push it to 9:30, but the original officer on the report who took the original report, and also everybody also Cruz at time. He's the first officer I even talked to, who talked to this guy at the well site, and he put the report in, and the story went on from there. The 9 o'clock, for instance. Yeah, that guy should have been more interrogated. That story should have been more interrogated. It should have been broken down because the last person that seen a person should have really been pulled in to make sure everything is what they're saying is accurate, right? And so they haven't done that. Like I said, from what I understand and what was told to me is that they just question these people. Hey, whether it's a phone call and question these people, and that's it, right? Nobody's ever put into an interrogation room. Only persons I know in my son's case ever been in their interrogation room answering any questions, anything, was me and my daughter. Somehow they called us to the police department and had it put us in. I didn't realize it was an interrogation room at first. They just asked us to come out because they wanted to ask some questions, wanted to get some information from us. We was was willing to do it. I was doing everything I can to help. They took me to this one of their sub police stations and put us in a room. I had never been in an interrogation room in my life, but you know what? Hindsight, and I was looking at it, say, why was it sitting in this interrogation room? Myself and my daughter interrogated. That's the same time the officer telling me and my daughter to break in my son's apartment, just don't get caught. Things like that. That's coming from Buckeye. Breaking his apartment, don't get caught because they can't get in there. They can't get a warrant to go and look in his apartment and things like that. So that's the one time we was in the interrogation room. So we didn't have anybody else from my understanding, not even the young lady, as you guys can understand. The officer simply just asked the question. He asked the question so simply, just by calling, say, I contacted you. Read that report. He contacted the young lady and then had her to upload her own stuff. So it's almost like whatever these people said, whatever they put, they just put it in the report and just went with it. It's never been interrogated, never been like I have been doing on the ground, you guys. I mean, the desert, after the searches, there's a lot of work been doing. So I don't just do desert searches. And the time I do other things too. I do my own investigation. I go out, fly. When I got the drone finally for the search, my own personal drones for the search, I was going out to different locations on my own time, putting a drone in the air, doing some recons and going out there, taking my risks, going out in the desert alone, things like that to do my job, look for my son. And I followed the story of this guy. I stepped in my son's shoes, supposedly based on the story that he gave. I did all of that. I did all the hard work, is what I'm trying to say. When people hear me say the word hard work, I actually did other work. Don't think I'm just some guy that's standing around in the desert with a whole bunch of volunteers and that was just it. No, there's other things I had to do in the background, just like yesterday. We had to go out to some location, follow some other tracks that Daniel has been taking. I got a lot of answers yesterday, you guys. I'm still doing this investigation. But the thing is, one thing I want to say is nobody ever been really interrogated about nothing. It just, hey, they said this, the coworker said that, some workers feel this way, and they wrote in their report. Young lady uploaded her own text messages in their report. There was nothing mentioned about what was found in Dane's phone. how that compared to what he said on his phone versus what she said on her phone. It was none of that. And you got to imagine this now. They can go back and try to fix that because I'm saying on the Q&A, but they can't because you guys can look at the original. I told you, go by the original report. They allowed the lady to do that before my son's phone was found, right? Before his phone was found, they put information on their report. Say she said this happened. He came up and try to appear to make him like some type of stalker or something. This happened and blah 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 happened and so on and so on. This well before that phone was recovered at that scene. So you guys, they just put things in the report. Somebody said they put in a report, but it's kind of ironic when I said this guy changed his story. His story was consistent with what they told me. He said when I got here on the ground, they didn't put that in the report, right? I mean, they've been very selective when they put a report. They put a report that I reported that this is unusual for my son. This is not what he does, blah, 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 so on and so on. He's been normal to me I think it was 2 or 3 days before he went missing. But they put what coworkers said that only really know my son. I know my son all my life. I'm his father. And, that type of stuff, So they randomly selected what they wanted to report and things like that as well. So definitely wanted to say that as in interrogation people, Shauna, I don't know anybody ever being interrogated or even pressed on their story when it comes to Daniel. And some of those things that I found as well haven't been pressed on when it comes to Daniel's story. So they just put in a report and then they just double down on it to make sure what they put in the report the first time, just like the notion that Daniel wanted to go missing. That's the first thing they said. Hey, he's a grown man. He want to go, he can. I mean, they didn't tell him that, but they doubled down on that. They want to say, hey, he wanted to go missing. That's what he did. That type deal. And they've been doing that to this date. So definitely. All right. Thank you for the question. Also, I got a question here from PM Channel. The question is, hi, David. A father searching for his missing son, receiving death threats. Were they afraid of what you may find? So the story, I don't know. You guys, the first thing I remember, the story I tell the team all the time, when I first started getting those kind of threats and crazy stuff, it started off with things about, here I am, a father out here searching for Dan. Y'all don't know half the things that I had to go through with people. You got crazy people out in the world. I learned this from CNN. CNN they spent several days with me out in the desert to do a story. And I remember talking to Sarah Seidner, and she was her and the camera guy. And I was telling them about the death threats, and she said, "Oh, you too? They look at each other and they said they get them all the time, right? But they said it in a way that, hey, you put yourself in the public eye, the crazies come out, basically, right? You don't realize how many crazy people in the United States until you get in the public eye. So when you get in the public eye, the crazies come out. So I do understand that part, right? But at the time, I did not know that kind of stuff. I was out at one of the Costco type stores. I can't think of the name of it right now. But being out there to get some stuff for the volunteers, for the searches, some snacks and things like that. And so I was out there at the store getting those things, and got a text message, for instance. And the guy was saying, "Hey, we got your son. We broke his legs. He's, they hold him hostage, basically, and first I had all kind of emotions. It was anger, and it was also worration, didn't know how to respond to this person. To make a long story short, that graduated from him not saying he wanted money. He's talking about revenge stuff. It started all kind of crazy stuff, but then it started hitting me up on the emails as well. So I don't know how these people got me information. My investigator at the time found out these guys was using burner phones and things like that. But yeah, watching me, and they say they threaten you, there's gonna be bloodshed, all kind of crazy stuff to me. But you know what? Those type deals, I had to deal with that kind of stuff just because I was out here trying to find my son. So a lot of people don't know half of the things that goes on in the background at the time when you put yourself in public eye, when you're definitely trying to do what you can for your child, and the crazies, like I said, is out there. So, definitely had to go fight through those things. But I did report that to the FBI, as well as, my investigator tried to do what he can to get those information, but also Buckeye. I reported them as well. Have done none. You see anything on that about it in the report? Haven't done anything about that. They can care less about it, because to this date they have ever spoken. The only thing I heard back from that is when I said something about it again. Chief Hall, like I said, tried to act like he was stunned oh, I didn't know anything about that, or what. He's the chief of police. That tells you about him if you don't know what goes on in his department. As well as I was out there. I put that report in with the Detective Biffin from their department. So definitely, like they said, yeah, it's very, very crazies out there as well. So I watch out for things like that as well. When you put yourself out there, you got just the crazies out there. As you guys can see, even in this chat, a lot of times you see some of that stuff come up in the chats and stuff like that. So you got people out there that means no good to anybody. They have no life or whatever the case may be. See somebody's pain and they'll double down on that pain just to get some kind of sick pleasure in their life. You know what I'm saying? So that type stuff. All right. But I do have a question here from Tay. Thank you, Tay, for your question. What color vehicle does the coworker that last saw him have? Now, when I went there when I first got here in Arizona, the first thing I did is reach out to find out this, talk to this kin. And when I got there, there's a couple things happened. I had a witness. I had my daughter and I have Gwen with me at the time. And I was out there, 2 young ladies, right? And I'm sitting there, called the company. The company already set that up for me. I called them, let them know I was 5 minutes out to this gate. That's the crazy part. Where my son, same gate my son met him off Sun Valley Parkway. Meet him there. They gave him a phone call because I didn't have his direct phone number at the time. They called him for me. Hey, let him know I'm at the gate. We sat at the gate for a little for time. White pickup truck showed up. You guys, I was gonna show some pictures. I'm really working on that as well, guys. I've released these pictures and things like that so you guys can understand the story fuller. But he came up. Some guy came up with a white pickup truck. I thought it was Ken at the time. Really bit heavy set guy. Came out and I asked him, was he Ken? He said no. I can't remember his name. I don't think he even told me his name. He asked me what I want with Ken. I told him, hey, look, I just came to ask him some questions about my son. My son was missing, blah, blah, blah. And so in the meantime, he was like, I asked him how far the well site was or things like that. He's it's about 5 to 10 miles out there in the desert. He's telling me these crazy things, right? How far it is. I'm like, man, that's far out there in the desert. Yeah, it's really far, and then he said, I may have exaggerated the distance a little bit or whatever the case, but it's really far out there, some kind of way. I said, okay, great. I said, well, I need to speak to him. Can let him know that I'm out here at the gate? And he's like, well, I tell you what, I can take you to him. This guy, his vehicle is nasty. Of course, told him, nah, man, I'm not going to leave these ladies out here at the gate. That's not going to happen. I'm not getting in this vehicle. He was cleaning, throwing all this trash or whatever he had on the seat and passed out. Yeah, come on, I can take you down there. No, I'll be okay. I'll wait till Ken come on up here and we can talk to him, right? So he got on the cell phone and stand outside the truck, got on the cell phone, hopped in the truck, set the seat, the door open, and I came closer to see what Ken was going to say. He said he was calling him. And so he saw that, he pulled the truck forward. So I couldn't hear it, get out of earshot of whatever the conversation was. And he pulled forward with the door still open, had a little conversation, and then he backed the truck back up and said, "Oh yeah," he said he's coming up. Right? Very odd, strange encounter. All right. So a little while later, a good while later, we waited for a while. He did show up. He showed up with a white utility vehicle. So the utility vehicle was like a work truck. You guys have these little compartments on the side of them and things like that. First thing he did, he got out, opened one of the compartment doors, had his hand sitting there. I thought that he, military-wise, I'm military. We're trained to watch hands and watch things, pay attention to details. And so I was watching his hands because I thought he was going in there to grab a weapon or something, a gun or something. I don't know. He kind of stand there with his hand there, I guess getting a feel of who I am. Hey, look, I'm just Daniel's father. I'm coming here just to ask you some questions. This is what the officers told me. And sure enough, he told me verbatim. My son's going to be there. It was there at roughly 9 o'clock. They got there and at the well site and blah, blah, blah. Same old story. He told me exactly pretty much word from word almost from where the officers told me. Officer Cruz at the time told me. And so, okay, all right. A little while in the conversation again, he went to a little further detail. So that's why you guys heard that little detail part I added. He started adding those details in. And I thought that was really strange as odd as well. How you pre-think that this thing gonna go nationally and the police going to come looking. It's going to go nationally, things like that. So, all right. You say since the red paint was on Daniel's Jeep, we do have one theory that we're working on right now about the red paint. I'm still that's come from John Q from the John QQ. Have some questions about that. It's something I'm checking into as well in the background. But you guys, the red paint, as far as I understand, don't come from any vehicle. Like I said, the vehicle's white there as well. So, and where do you believe it could have come from? I just don't know. That paint have to be forensically tested and things like that. But we have theories of where it came from. I have several locations where, well, not several, a couple locations where it could have come from, and that's from doing an investigation as well. So those things have to be tested out to see which is which, where it really came from. And that kind of can help with the timeline of where Daniel's vehicle was located, things like that. I know, in my opinion, how things are set when it comes to the cell phone pings to videos to whatever. It seems like all those things are being hidden from me to be able to get the answers I need. But you know what? There's all kind of other ways to get answers. It just take longer to get those answers without having those things that law enforcement can readily get quickly. You know what I'm saying? I definitely have to go the long way around, take the long way, take the long route. But ultimately, I still will get the answers to that as well. I'll get a lot of answers, trust me. She Rose Nation, thank you so much for your question. Thanks for being here this morning for the Q&A. The question is, have you thought about requesting written confirmation from Buckeye and FBI and their FBI contact that confirms why they will not take Dan's case? Get them put it in writing. That would be powerful. Yes, and you know what? That's a good idea, She Rose Nation. I really appreciate that, putting that out. A team member and myself, we went out to the FBI field office, same field office you guys see right now. They had a protest on here in Phoenix, and these Trump supporter protest out there in Phoenix at that field office. We went to that field office. That's where this FBI agent who so-called did a case review with Buckeye. So I did talk to this guy, me and the team member, and so he feel like Buckeye did a great job. That's how you put it, that type deal. So, but yeah, you're right. Definitely want to put that in writing as well. Saying that is great. That's a great idea. If I can go there, definitely need that report of what they found to try to get that case review, copy of that, what was said and things like that. So I'm definitely working on that as well to get that information. But yeah, that would be powerful. That's part of the stack of everything I keep and, the records and stuff like that. So thank you so much, Sheroes Nation, putting that out. That would be helpful thought to make sure that happened as well. May have to make a second trip is what I'm saying. So thanks so much. I really appreciate that. All right. Thank you guys for coming into this Q&A. Anybody have any more questions, please put the word question there, question mark, or things like that before you ask a question. As I'm coming down the comment section, I will be able to get to your question. I really appreciate you taking time out to be here in this Q&A with me. All right. And thank you so much, ex-Navy Girl 81. Thank you so much for your question. When Ken said this was going to go national, why would he have said that? Why he said it? And that's the thing. When he was saying it at the time, I was saying it in my mind, like, what do you mean by that? What you mean that the police gonna come look in this thing and go nationally? It's gonna think this thing gonna be big and go national. I don't know to this date why he said it, but I did report it. I thought it was strange as well. To me, that stood out. Of course, a lot of things stood out. The red painting the rocks with red paint stood out to me as well when he was saying it, and also him changing the story itself more. We're adding more, and that's the reason why as soon as he did that, I had my witnesses went to the Buckeye Police Department to report that, and then he said, literally, the officer said, "Oh, that's what he said." Yeah, and that was the end of it. You guys have never heard of it except from me. So, like I said, they're selective for what they want to report. They're selective what they want to look into this department. So they're selective in a sense, in my opinion, that would always be to prevent me from getting these answers to what happened to my son, and to help me get these answers. It may appear, there's two ways you can do things and make it appear like you're doing so much and appear to be really helpful, but really you're trying to hurt the case. That's appearance that comes to me, because you know what? no matter all the information that we gave this department, they doubled down to say this not happened. You know, they gave me that lame excuse, and I'm going back to this vehicle real quick. I do kind of jump around. Go back to this vehicle behind me, and one of the things they pointed out, I said, hey, you know, there was a hard head. I said, oh, it was raining. It was there for 30 days. Basically, they wanted to be there for 30 days, sitting there in a ravine. Yeah, and it was a hard hat filled with rainwater, right? And but the hard hat was in the back seat on the side of the vehicle on the side like it is, and it's turned over, looking there through the sunroof, and it's sitting down there in the back there with rainwater in it, fill up with a business card in it, you know, and the business card is not melted away if it's there for 30 days. It could be there for half a day, and that business card will turn to mush, you know, and also filled all the way up almost, you know, the hard heads filled up with that much rainwater. And only windows open in that vehicle is the driver's door. Is the only glass is broken out of there. Only glass broken in that vehicle broken out, and that's in the front side of the vehicle. And the sunroof area is sideways, you know, and the helmet wasn't sitting. The hard hat wasn't sitting against that sunroof here. So you know, so that to me was suspicious. For instance, right? Somebody fill it up to make it give it an appearance of it being sitting out here for over 30 days, that type deal. You know what I'm saying? You just look at certain things and you can see what's really going on and how things are set up that way. So, long story short with that, there's a lot of things I ask about them when it comes to not searching these answers. When the guy say, hey, this thing going national, I'm taking my story and say, hey, what we're going to find out the answers to that question. They're not looking for those questions. They look for ways to say, Daniel's vehicle being here for 30 days. That's it. And it's funny, you know, you guys, I want to put that out as well. I keep putting these things that I want to put on the Q&A. What's funny as well is one of the reports they had out there saying, well, we could have missed the vehicle, the Civil Air Patrol and all these people missed the vehicle because the terrain was so thick and, you know, and they contradict themselves with their own pictures. You know, they take their own drone pictures at that. I doubt they even had the Phoenix helicopter out there that they said when the vehicle was found that they borrowed. They said Phoenix been here doing a whole lot of work according to them, part of this. So Phoenix should be in this case as well because they claiming they're using the Phoenix Firebird helicopters and all that kind of stuff. There are things, even Maricopa County dogs, they claim to be out here on this thing that they claim, right? So you look at their own drone pictures that they gave me, you guys, and they put it, even got on their own stuff. And you look at that terrain from the high altitude, they always take that drone picture from. And you don't see that brush thick and all that. You see that vehicle with the drone. So why you couldn't see it when you was out there searching? Because it wasn't there, you know? So that type deal, you know, that's the thing. So, all right, okay. Was it because Daniel was going to become missing or something to do with the job? It just don't make sense. Well, you know, I don't know. I really don't know, and that's why I'm trying to make sure I get this answer. One thing we do know, though, what we found out, Daniel was not there at 9:00. Right? We know that's a lie. He didn't drive off at 9:15. We know that's a lie. That's a story we had to go by because it's in the police report. They took the man's story without vetting the story, without going farther than that, right? And we know that's a lie because Daniel made that phone call 9:28. So you guys know that's incorrect. But you know what? It's hard when you have to do that. And I had to go with what they put in their report for you guys until I find out some things out more about what really happened. And like I said, I'm gonna pull out a little bit more if I can, a little bit at a time eventually. But what you find out the truth, and I had to constantly say the same thing over and over on the Q&As and in public and these interviews because I don't want to destroy all the let in on what things I do know already. And so, you know, and I had to do that for a reason because you're doing an investigation. You definitely want to put everything out that period that you know already. And so some of those things is very hurtful when I look at the Buckeye Police Department's police report, and the things I do know is very not consistent with what they put in their report. It's a lie, you know, in my opinion. So that's how the stuff is, and I don't like it. I don't like it. And I have to deal with it, you know, deal with it all the time, and deal with the half work they have done and no work at all, basically, you know what I'm saying? So that kind of stuff, I don't like that, and I have to deal with it all the time. So definitely with that, I don't know why they didn't go and vet this man's story a lot more, and also check into that Navy girl. Thanks so much for your question. All right, you guys have another question. I have one here from DJ Moore as well. Is the company Daniel worked for website Matrix Solutions? I don't know unless they changed their name. I don't know. There's Matrix New World, also called Matrix Southwest Groundwater. You can check those two out. I haven't been on their website a long time. Only time I've been on their website was when Daniel first got hired there, and he was really excited about the job. And I went to go check it out before, as soon as he was get ready to start working to make sure this job is what he needed. So that's the last time, only time checking it out. Learn about their company, one in New York and things like that. Just learn a little bit about the company itself, the owners and stuff like that. It might be handy to know everything about them. I know pretty much some stuff. I know everything, but I know a lot about this company. Like I said, I did some stuff yesterday, and I found out some more details about this company and details about how Daniel do things. So it's still an ongoing thing for me. You guys, you hear police officers talk all the time. It's an ongoing investigation. Yeah, for me, it's the same thing. It's an ongoing investigation for me to find information out. So yeah, if they have a shady past or dealings is dealings is it is out there. Yeah, and you're right. I haven't scrutinized that company like that at all. All that I have, like I said, when I first checked into them was just to see if this is a good fit for my son. He's out there trying to start his career off in life and do things, and I want to make sure he's okay with what he's doing too. So I'll check into it so I can give him advice. He's a grown man. He can make a decision where he want to work. But at the time, I just want to, give my input if I could. So I was checking it out on that manner as if it's a good job or not. But as in scrutinizing their past, history, things happen. I did hear some things about, I think Daniel got his position because one of the workers, something happened. I just know he passed away some type of way or something or other. And some of those positions was open because of that. So I don't know. So look into that a little deeper. There could be something to that as well. All right. Latanya, thanks so much. Tats Savvy, thanks for being here this morning. Come out to the Q&A. You guys have more questions. I really appreciate it if you guys have them. If you don't have them and you will have some later on, you can come back to this evening Q&A. I will have a Q&A this evening at 5:30 p.m. That's Arizona time. That's 8:30 p.m. East Coast time. You guys will come this evening for this evening's Q&A prime time. I really appreciate it if you come out there as well. Thank you, D. Lucky, so much for coming out as well on this Q&A, as well as Nikki O'Shea. Thanks so much for being here this morning. I do have a question from you, Nikki. I really appreciate you doing that. Is there any type of map that documents where all the unused wells in the areas are? That could be. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't found any, but I don't know. Just like the BLM mapping on the mines that's out there. We found mines out there that's nowhere on BLM map. There's thousands of mines in Arizona, and a lot of them not even marked. They don't even know of a lot of them. So it's really desert is very treacherous when it comes to that because of course they had the gold mine rush and all the kind of stuff going on back in the day, and then people make these mines and stuff, but as in the wells, I'm sure there had to be some documentation of wells because that's something that people put in for water for these communities and stuff. So I just haven't found any. I ran into one we thought was a well, had a bit tire on it, and turned out to be a mine. But yeah, I'm sure they have something out there. So some type of mapping system with that. So thanks so much for the question. I don't know if they would, but they need to. That'd be great if I can find each and every last one of them in that area. Like I said before, I would not go in the desert out there searching for the whole entire Sonoran Desert for Daniel. It got to be the reasonable area based on science, like how far a person can walk naked according to the stage scene. Things like that. How far from the well site. Those things had to be searched at the time, especially I didn't have all the information I need. We had to go by one story. I don't know. I just know that the vehicle showed up here. I'm put this right here as well. I just know the vehicle showed up almost 30 days later, right? 2 days after it was seen on the side of the road. And, Buckeye, to this point, even with that vehicle sitting on the side of the road, I reported it up to him. Before I can finish my sentence, oh, it's not your son's vehicle. And they came out really quickly to say, oh, it's not his vehicle. And without even evidence of that as well, not even physically looking at the vehicle, it's not his vehicle, looking at a picture, a blurred picture, and say, oh, it's not a vehicle, the wheels look blah, blah, blah. No, the vehicle's shaped just like it and looks like the vehicle. And to me, the wheels look like the same wheels, but oh, God, the wheels look. How you gonna see wheels with a blurred picture? You see the same. You have no better eyes than I do. The picture's the same way I'm looking at it as everybody else who feel the same way. It appeared to be Daniel's vehicle, but they quickly want to say it's not because some wheel thing. No, they want to make sure. Well, I leave that to myself, but they haven't to this day answered my question. Okay, well, if you say that, then I ask you who told it away. You still don't want to give me those answers, right? Who told it away and where is it now? Okay, if that's not his vehicle, whose vehicle is it? That type deal. They don't give those answers as well. So they'll put in a report, but you notice in that report they ain't gonna tell you we did blah blah blah, and we verified that it wasn't his vehicle or it was about some wheel. They looked at a picture. They didn't go out and when I asked them to go out there and they did, the vehicle just vanished. The guy, the vehicle was there. When I made an alert that I was going out there to look at the vehicle was towed away, right? Towed away before I got there. The guy said, hey, it was here, just here. Now it's gone. Well, I told him, hey, look, the Buckeye Police Department said they're going to send a cruiser out there to check out the vehicle to make sure, see if it's his. And I was on the way. Well, no, the vehicle gone, but I did see the Buckeye Police Department's vehicle pass by, that type deal. So I immediately asked him, hey, who told it away, blah, blah. Like I said, I still didn't get this answer because the vehicle showed up in the desert almost 2 days later, from a day or two later. So, and that's the thing that goes along consistency with the timeline and go consistency with everything my investigator found. The vehicle came from somewhere, crashed somewhere, came from somewhere, and it was placed in that desert, right? It was a stage event, is the way he put it. So, and I look at it the same way. It's common sense. The clothing on the ground, I don't know if this is my son's clothing or not, right? Have been no forensics done on that. They couldn't have done in the forensic work. I didn't even get no DNA sample to the department. No forensic work done on the scene. No forensic done on the clothing that says Daniel's. That kind of stuff. And the reason why, because for them, it's not a criminal case. They're not looking into that. They didn't even did the forensic work on that. They say, hey, we didn't see any blood with our eyes. They don't know about it, wipe it up or not. We didn't see no blood with our eyes, so it didn't happen. That type deal. So, all right. Here we go here. So fresh smell. Thank you so much, Phil. I really appreciate it. Thanks for putting information out there, change.org. Thank you guys. You guys go ahead and sign a petition, put your voice to that petition, and help me out on that behalf as well. It's so much work to be done. I get weary, you guys, and I'm gonna put a little part of this Q&A, and I'm gonna say this because I have to say it sometime. I get weary a lot. You know what I'm saying? You can imagine after a year, I do have a family. Daniel do have a mother. He have siblings, right? But the only person on the ground is myself. When I say on the ground, I'm out here doing everything I can physically to search for my son, right? He's my son. I have to do that. I'm a father. Not taken away from his parent, his mother, not taken away from his siblings, anybody. What I'm saying is I'm physically here on the ground, right? So I had to deal with a whole lot of things that come along with that. Whether it's, like I said, the death threats in the past, to scrutiny or whatever the case may be. I had to deal with a whole lot of stuff at one time, right? At the same time, trying to be a good person to try to help as many people as I can along the way in our pain. When I say in our pain, me, his mother, his siblings, everybody's in our pain, our family, right? Had to continue to do that as well, and as well as deal with the police department and things like that. So there's a whole lot of things going on. I get really discouraged a lot. Discouraged a lot. You guys don't know half of the times when I'm really down. I was down this morning. I don't want to do Q&A all the time. But I had to always continue to tell myself every day to keep pushing and, keep encouraging yourself Like I said, you guys been helping by saying little things you say, and that really helps out a lot. And just the whole fact that my son is missing, the sheer fact that he's missing, and I'm the only person he have when I say in terms of going to stand up and fight for him, right? And if I don't do it, who will? You know what I'm saying? Nobody's gonna stand up for somebody else's loved one without them initiating something, right? So definitely out here trying to do everything I can for an entire year. But I get weary. I get tired. I'm tired, mentally tired. But I refuse. One thing that I learned in the military, we'll never quit. We don't just stop. We don't just quit. I have been first of all, that's not my nature. It's not my nature. It's not who I am as a guy, not who I am as a father, just to quit. And especially with this military training that helped out as well. We just don't quit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm ready to challenge and take on anybody, including law enforcement. So the thing is, it's discouraging a lot of times. A lot of times I have to keep pushing. I'm tired. I'm sleepy sometimes. So I just want to put out that part of me that say, hey, look, it's not always easy. It's not always easy trying to do this whole thing constantly every day. I haven't been home. I still have a home in South Carolina. By the way, you guys hear the story. Hey, this father left. Yes, I left my home in South Carolina, and I haven't laid in my home bed in months. So I have a bed in South Carolina. Haven't been laying in my own bed in months because I'm out here fighting for Daniel. I can tell you, Daniel can tell you, summer months, I'm out on the beach somewhere, right? Summer months, I'm out in LA somewhere, trying to enjoy myself for the summer. And What are the places that, and I'm not putting Arizona down. What I'm saying is, I'm not a desert person. I spent my time in the desert in Afghanistan. I'm not a desert state person. I like to be around ocean water. I like to be around tropical stuff, and that is where I am. I'm a humidity person. I can deal with the humidity. So it's not a vacation for me. It's not a vacation trip. It's not something I wake up every day and say, "Man, I just love being here in Arizona." No, it's horrible because my son is missing, and I feel like at times there's discouragement coming that here it is over a year, and I still haven't found my son, and so that's the discouraging part for me. And I go back and I say what I could have done better, what I should have done, woulda, coulda, shoulda, or a lot of times I feel like I didn't do enough, and I'm still feeling that way. A lot of times I feel like I don't do enough, and I'm trying my best to try to do much as I can and try to figure out what I can do better. You sit there every night and try to bust your brain on what you can do next, that type deal. So long story short, what I'm saying is it's always not easy all the time. It's hard mentally, it's hard physically, but I'm still pushing it. So you guys, when you sometimes you ask certain things, and I think one person asked me some scrutiny about funding or something. It irritates me. It irritates me because you know what else am I doing here? What else am I doing in Arizona? And that was, the fine thing. I've been doing that from day one since I've been here. I'm going against law enforcement when they're not doing right. When I say go against, I'm going against wrongness. You know what I'm saying? One thing you can see by Daniel is a reflection of that. For instance, George Floyd situation, you guys. He did the protest. I'm very proud of him. He called me. He was talking to me while he's out there protesting here in Phoenix, and proud of him. Did some kind of news interview, and one thing for sure, you're gonna stand up for what's right. Right, gonna stand up for what's right. What you feel is right, you stand up for. Whatever you believe in, you stand up for. I'm a victim of police brutality, but I'm also a guy who also tried to become a police officer. I was going in to be do something change when I was younger. Was waiting to go. I was trading off my time when I was going to Howard University at the time in D.C. Trade off to try to become an officer at the time. I said no, didn't end up not doing both at the time. So the thing is, I'm saying is, I believe in police officers. I have a retired police officer in my family as well. So I know that police officers do great jobs out there. You got good ones out there, but at the same time, if they're not doing the right thing, I don't care how many times a cop say they're a good cop. If they watch another department do something and it's not right, and they stand by idly behind and make all these excuses, why they're not doing something about it, and they're law enforcement themselves, then they bad cops too, you know. So I call people who call them out the way they are, you know. If I was riding down the road and I got a call from a friend of mine, and I know he's a drug dealer, I know he's doing some things wrong. I just hop in his car, but I know he got drugs in his car, and we get pulled over by an officer and find a trunk load of whatever that he got in there. Who all going to jail, right? I mean, I didn't know he had drugs in his car, but I know he's a drug dealer. But I didn't know he had drugs in his car, and I know he's a bad apple. But I decided to ride with him. Yeah, the thing gonna happen is I'll be in jail to this day saying it wasn't my drugs, you know, doing the same charge as person getting, you know, this type deal. So if you're associated with that kind of bad police and the bad this whatever, then you're a bad cop too if you don't do anything about it. So that's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. So that's what I had to deal with. But I had to deal with it every day. I had to deal with the fact that I know that I'm away from loved ones. I have a young daughter at home as well, you know what I'm saying, back in South Carolina, I have to take care of. So I have obligations to take care of at home, as well as taking obligations here in Arizona. And it's hard. It's tough trying to do everything at one time. So y'all pray for me. I want y'all to keep that prayers going on for me and my family. And don't forget that Daniel do have a mother. Don't forget that you have siblings. Don't forget that you have grandparents that love him as well. So, you know, all of that, you know what I'm saying, all of that is happening with this Robinson thing when it comes Daniel been missing. We just like any other family, we have our loved ones. He have his mother, like I said, his siblings and everybody really hurting right now. You know, only difference is, like I said, I'm the one on the ground, and I'm the one that's actually dealing with people and dealing with things physically and mentally and things like that. That's really here on the ground. So you guys can always keep that in mind as well. But thanks so much. I just want to throw that out real quick. That was on my head real quick. A lot of times, you know, I do this Q&A, and man, it gets rough mentally sometimes, you know, to keep doing the same thing over and over again. And especially when I know some things and I can't put it out, and it's hard to keep those things for right now. So, all right. Definitely. Thank you so much for this question, Amber. Thanks so much. Any progress on discovering who the other girl was that was with Caitlin at Caitlin's residence when Daniel visited? No, I do not know, and that's the biggest thing. You know, the weird thing is when I talked to Daniel before he went missing, he told me about these two young ladies. He never did mention her name, the other woman. I wish he did. I'll go back over and over again, and I wish he did say this person's name. I at least could have had a name, but he even identified that it was two women there that night when he spent the night there. So, you know, so yeah, it was two, but I still don't know whoever she is. She's being protected. I do know she's not a kid. I do know that she's a grown person, according to my son. So she's not hidden because she's a minor or something. You know, it's because whatever Buckeye or whoever want to hide or whatever, that's the reason why. Like I told you guys, they are very selective of what and who and when and where they want to put in that report. So, you know, that type deal. All right. And so it's if you can access Caitlin's social media, maybe you can research her friend. You know, I have a lot information from the past and her submission. She said since changed her social media, of course, and shut it down. I'm not looking into her social media like that. You know, I tried my best to stay. She's a young lady, so I try to stay away from certain distance from there. I usually let my investigator do that kind of stuff, going to her, looking into social media and all this. That's not my job. As a father, I try to stay away from certain things, you know, so especially when it comes to a young lady. She's a young lady just like Daniel in age or whatever, and I try to stay away from certain things when it comes. But as in the information, as in the facts and things like that, yeah, I say things like that. You know, hey, you let a young lady upload her own text messages that don't match the phone records and things like that. So when I say don't match the phone, the amount of texting don't match what she put up on the between those two that she put up on the in their report that she put in their report. That's the funny part that she put in their report. So you know, things like that. But as in her social media, I definitely you know, I just know from information that yeah, she changed all of that kind of stuff. So all right. Anybody have any more questions? I will be answering those as well. Thank you, Amber, for another question that you have here. Put the letter Q like Amber did here, the word question, also question marks for your question. Did Daniel keep a journal, digital record about his progress at work sites? Not that I'm aware of, no. I do have some work logs that he have done pictures of. Might reveal if he experienced anything strange at the well sites. You know, his job is definitely there to check those viability of the wells. And like I said too, if Daniel have found something, excuse me, you guys. If Daniel have found something, he would definitely say something. He's not a person who would know they can help people, help a community, help. That's what he went to school for. He's passionate about his job. He loved. I didn't understand it. He tried his best to try to convince me to live here in Arizona. It's funny. I've been here, under bad circumstances, but he loved it here. He loved his job. He loved his rocks and science. He's a scientist, so he likes stuff like that. But yeah, if he found something, he definitely would say something. I know that for a fact. All right, Latoya, thanks so much again. Tech Savvy Smith, thank you so much for being here off the Facebook side. Thanks for your question. At this point, do you think he is still in the desert? I don't think he is there. It's a lot of things, ways I take that. I have my suspicions to say I didn't ever believe he's there either, right? However, at the same time, the vehicle showed up there, and the persons responsible could have put him there as well. And that's the reason why I had to keep searching the desert. Meaning that, hey, look, they put that vehicle out there for you to find in a search, as well as they if something nefarious happened and they put him out there for him to be found. So that type deal. So that's the reason why I do that, take him away from what really happened at the time or where it happened. So that kind of stuff. And so I had to go by two different things right now. And so that's the way of looking at it. If you want to understand that way, that's the way I'll look at it. If a person give a story and you're relying on the police department, they have vetted that story and they say, hey, this is where it happened at, and this is what happened because the person said it. Not just because they said it, but the police department actually did the job to see if the stories make sense or is true. Then you go and search that area, because that's the first thing I did. I went by whatever the police department told me. They say this man said that he was around there at 9 o'clock. He was gone at 9:15. He said about the little story, you guys heard on the report. And so when I first started my desert searches, that's the first place I looked, around that well site. How far a vehicle can go out from that well site and look around the desert area as far as we can, humanistically look, travel in the vehicle. We didn't have any, at the time, we wasn't doing any line searches. To make a long story short, we wasn't looking for Daniel dead or something on the ground. We just looked at him. The way the story was given to me, my family, was that we looked for him as a rescue. Hey, his vehicle broke down in the middle of the desert somewhere, and we got to go find him. He, whatever the case may be, he's stuck. He ran out of gas or something out there in the middle of the desert, and that type deal. So out there looking for him, and then when the vehicle showed up the way this is right here, I expanded my searches to cover that area, and then the story was given to me by the Buckeye Police Department that he shredded his clothes off and a brain injury thing, make him take his clothes off, all that kind of nonsense they was talking. I had to expand my searches to cover reasonably how far a person can walk butt naked with no shoes, with no water. And then we had to throw in a theory, if he had changed of clothes, how far you still can walk with no water, because the water wasn't touched in his vehicle. And he left his backpack. So long story short, going by those things was told to me by the Buckeye Police Department. I had to expand my searches in the area search based on those things we did know. So, and then as it started graduating, I got my investigator course. It went on based on 11 additional miles and you name it, that type stuff. So yeah, it is based on it then. But I'm saying is because of the things I do know, the vehicle it's a stage thing. So the vehicle, the 11 district miles came from somewhere else. And so we need to find out what that's somewhere else. But we still, at the time, they wanted, whoever was staged it there, wanted us to search that, put everything there away from where it really happened. So that's the thing, you know what I'm saying? So it's a little thinking process you have to go through when you're doing, investigating things like that. So try to find out what really happened. Detective skills, basically. I don't have it, meaning that I'm just a father look for my son. I'm not in the police department title of some detective, but, I do have common sense. And it's common sense, and stuff is these detectives here in that department say and things like that. It's not common sense. Not using common sense and not really looking to find out the answers. You looking just to, in my opinion, dismiss things. That's why they gave everything over to me. But anyway, at this point, yeah, I have a lot of thoughts on that, Latoya, Latanya. I'm sorry. I have a lot of thoughts on that as well. About it's probably the same way you're feeling right now. All right, Amber Overton, thanks so much. Have you been able to do any searching in the first area in which the car was reported as found? Yes, large area. Like I said, expanded my searches when the vehicle was found, and it was based on that, those mileage to those theories, those science type stuff I was talking about. Got a feeling that was the original crime scene, not in the desert. The desert might have been a distraction, and that's what I just got through saying in the last question, and that's exactly, a stage event. It's a distraction to pull you away from where things really happen and stuff like that. So, and it is definitely a stage event. That vehicle didn't show up until I started putting it out in the news. I told you guys I was fighting really hard trying to get Daniel's story out there, and I started reaching out to social media actually. And I noticed that once I started putting that stuff out in social media really hard, and I got one or two, and I got some little radio stations and things like that, pushing out real hard about he went missing out there and blah, blah. I'm looking out here, and I'm starting to desert search out here and, search for Daniel. And that's when it's, start putting that stuff out there, and then the vehicle showed up. Of course, they're going to really help me get some stuff locally when it comes to news. So, but definitely, yeah, and that's the thing. When that vehicle showed up, yeah, that to me was when I started putting out some things on social media really strong. All right, Aurora, thanks so much for your question. I hope I didn't miss that last question. That was it. But was there any point of wasn't there at some point talk of some oil or mineral company or what's that? And a theory that Daniel's job finding could be a problem for them. Do you know anything about that? No, I don't know anything about oil or minerals. I do know that they test the water for all kind of stuff. They go to these labs and have the water itself tested to make sure this water people have to drink eventually. So yeah, they have to test that water out for all kind of stuff. So I don't know. I haven't heard anything about that. So, but yeah, definitely Nature's New World do test the water as well, not just to check the water, see if the wells itself to see if it can produce that amount of years of water, but also they have to do testing as well. Oh, you guys, I'm getting close to that end point. It's an hour and 40 minutes. I'm getting close to it. You guys having more questions? Definitely, by all means, ask your question here. I'm still here to do these questions. Put the capital letter Q, question mark, things like that. I can find your question. I'm coming down the comment section now. I don't see any more left, but I do want to say real quick as well. Again, I'm going to put that out again. If you can, you guys come to a day of remembrance. Definitely want to see you all out there. If you also can help as well, because I have a thing of trying to get awareness about the Day of Remembrance, and it's a team. If some people ask me, "Hey, what else can we do?" Even little things like that. It's not when it has something to do with Daniel because Daniel's still missing, and it has something to do with Daniel because it's bringing awareness about his case. So if you guys can please share a Day of Remembrance on your timeline. Go to Eventbrite, go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com and hit the events tab and post that on your social media accounts if you can, because I need to get it out there as far as I can as well. We had the event the last time. It's been rescheduled based on the Roe v. Wade decision with the Supreme Court. They had some protesting going on the same week. It happened to be on that weekend that was having a day of remembrance, and we had to postpone it until, like I said here now, let me put it up here on the screen down the bottom, on the, September the 10th, day before 9/11. It'll be September the 10th at 6:30 p.m. right here in Phoenix. So you guys definitely, make sure you share that. Go to Eventbrite, go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com, a day of remembrance, event tab on pleasehelpfinddaniel.com, Eventbrite, just type in a day of remembrance and share. Please share that. We're trying to get as many people out there as we can. We do have the resources coming out, resource tables. Hopefully this time we can get the mayor. Last time the mayor of Tempe was coming out, as well as some other officials, and hopefully get the same ones out on this one as well. But make sure you support that, because there's a lot of families need that, as well as in the families who need that support, need that awareness about their loved one case. Have them to reach out to us. Please help find Daniel at yahoo.com. Please help find Daniel at Yahoo, and reach out to us and request a spot for your table, and your flyers and things you want to bring to highlight your loved one's story. Get that opportunity to talk about your loved one and share the story with other missing family persons of the missing. So try to put that story, and that's, like I said, get these resources. So definitely want you guys to come out and support that. The team have worked really hard at putting it together, and just want to make sure that we're helping and affecting many people we can. So definitely want to make sure that you be attendance to that and a part of that. And also, you guys, there's some other events going to be coming on as well. Working on that as well. I'm going to start pushing those out as well. So definitely, please support. All right. Also, if you guys have a tip, I'm going to leave this tip line here again. Leave that on the bottom of the screen. Again, if you guys have any more questions, please by all means ask the question with a capital letter Q or a question mark and things like that. If you don't have any more, I want to tell you guys thank you, because I don't see any more here. But thank you so much for coming out to this Q&A and being a part of that. And please, you guys, if you don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe button, that definitely help as well. Get this channel out there. And next week, it was going to be supposedly being this evening. I would have had a family on today. They did email me and said they was unable to do it this week here. So we postponed it to next Wednesday. That'll be also a fast and prayer for Daniel. It's going to be a fast and prayer day as well. But we have that family come on the Q&A, on the primetime Q&A next week. So hopefully you guys can look out for that as well. Oh, I just want to say one thing real quick, and I want to put this out real quick. Don't forget the other family that was here before. We did have a family member that came out before. She had a missing loved one, her mother. Her name is Sherry. I don't want to say, it was a one-off, what I'm saying? So you guys can look up there. She have a mother, Diane Francis, that went missing. And if you guys want to help her as well, you can contact her and you learn more about her story as well, about her service. So if you guys can, please don't forget Sherry. Situation with her mother went missing, like I said, out there in Florida. So definitely share the story. I don't know if you guys are missing. You can look on it and remember the picture here that Sherry shared before on this Q&A. Her and her mother. I think she had this picture here. It was more so how she believed her mother would look now. So you guys definitely look out for that, and also keep that in mind. Keep her in mind. Keep her and the family in mind. And like I said, you want to contact her. You can also Google on the bottom there, Google missing Diane Francis. Just Google that, and you get the story about her mother as well. But like I said, to contact Sherry, definitely put that. The information is right there. This contact is ssnyder0615@gmail.com. So you guys can look out for that as well. Hopefully I can have her back on again and, continue to share her mother's story as well. So I will have somebody next week. So you guys know somebody who wants to be on the Q&A as well to share your story. Please hit me up. Please help find Daniel at yahoo.com. Please help find Daniel at yahoo.com. The team member, myself, will respond and get you on this channel. That's what it's for. Of course, it's for me personally. My first priority is to Daniel, but my priority also is to help other families. So definitely want to make sure I put that out. All right, thank you guys so much. I'm losing my voice now. It's time for me to get out of here. Hope I see you this evening Q&A at 5:30. If you guys come at 5:30, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, you guys come back out and join in with me. I really appreciate it. God bless you. Love you, and I'll see you then.
No one is available to take your call. Please leave a message.
Hey, Daniel. This is Ken with Rebel Water Resources. I'm out here at Trillium off of Sun Valley Parkway. I'm waiting on fuel. I think it's going to be a while. He was all the way over at Fort McDowell here at 6 o'clock this morning. So I just wanted to give you a heads up. It's, I don't want you to come all the way out here and just sit and wait. But I was going to give you a heads up when you're about an hour away from being ready to go and stuff. But if you can, just give me a call when you get a chance.
No one is available to take your call. Please leave a message.
Hey, Daniel, Steve. Hey, give me a call, please. Thank you.
No one is available to take your call. Please leave a message.
Hey, Daniel, this is Roger. I know that work is trying to get hold of you, but I'm less concerned about them than I am about you. Give me a call back. Let me know what's going on. If I need to pick up somewhere or whatever, just give me a holler. I'll make sure you're okay. So I'll talk to you later. Thanks.